the little dog got lost on the streets. Suddenly, he met a man named Parker, who instantly fell in love with him. Parker waited for a long time, hoping someone would come looking for the dog, but no one ever did, so he took him home. As time passed, Hatchie grew up. He stayed by Parker's side whenever he could, but Parker had to go to work and couldn't take him along. Hatchie secretly slipped out and chased him all the way to the train station. Parker didn't have the heart to let him follow, so he took him back home and caught the next train instead. Whenever Parker wasn't around, Hatchie seemed depressed. Every afternoon, right before Parker's train arrived, Hatchie jumped the fence, ran to the station, and waited quietly by the flower bed. The moment he saw Parker, he ran straight into his arms. First, Parker still didn't want him coming along in the mornings, but whenever he saw that look in Hatchie's eyes, he gave in. From then on, Hatchie walked him to the station every day. Once they arrived, Parker told him to go home, and Hatchie obediently turned back. Every evening, when the train pulled in, Hatchie was there on time, sitting by the flower bed. He always spotted Parker in the crowd and sprinted into his arms. No matter the season, he waited there. Then one day, things changed. Parker was heading to work and asked Hatchie to walk with him, but the dog acted strangely. He barked, circled around, and refused to follow, as if he didn't want Parker to leave. Parker comforted him for a while, but he was running late and had to go. Hatchie suddenly ran into the shed and came back with a tennis ball in his mouth. Parker was delighted and even showed off the trick to others, but that was Hatchie's last attempt to make him stay. Parker still boarded the train and told Hatchie to meet him at 5 o'clock by the flower bed. Hatchie watched the train disappear, as if he sensed something was wrong. That day, Parker suffered a sudden heart attack while teaching and passed away, but Hatchie kept waiting at the station. 5 o'clock came. Parker didn't show up. Even late at night, after the last train had left, Hatchie was still there. Later, Parker's son-in-law took him home. Through a crack in the door, Hatchie looked inside. The house was filled with sadness. The next day, the family attended the funeral. Hatchie didn't understand death. He only knew that Parker might still return to the station. He believed that if he waited, he would see him again. Even when the snow began to fall and people told him to stop waiting, his eyes remained determined. All right, Hatchie, do what you have to do. Eventually, Parker's wife moved away, and Hatchie went to live with Parker's daughter, but he was never happy. One day, he seized a chance to escape and ran back to the station to wait again. Parker's daughter tried many times to bring him home, but whenever he got the chance, Hatchie ran back to that familiar station. Eventually, she stopped stopping him, and so Hatchie stayed by the flower bed. He waited for 10 years. One day, Parker's wife returned to town to visit the grave and saw a familiar figure at the station. Hatchie was old by then. She walked up in shock, hugged him, and burst into tears. Still, Hatchie kept waiting. Until the very last moment of his life, he stared at the station doors. Then he slowly closed his eyes. In his final moments, it felt like he was back in the old days, running down the street with Parker, walking beside him, sharing warmth. Suddenly, he lifted his head. Hatchie! This time, he finally saw Parker again.